Hi, I'm Dr. Joe Kort, and welcome to Smart Sex, Smart Love. And I'm going to start to do a series of videos leading up to May 17th on how parents can talk to their children about sex and give them sex education in their own homes. My tagline is, if you don't do this, if parents don't talk to their kids about sex, somebody else will. And kids have easy access to sex these days. They're watching the internet. The internet's available 24/7. Porn is available 24/7. And it's easy to be afraid of and scare your children out of looking at porn, getting on the internet. And as a family, I think it's really important that you have your family values instilled into your children. You put parental restrictions down. You do all the necessary things to structure your child from seeing porn and your teen from seeing porn and seeing things on the internet that might be inaccurate. And your children are still going to get on the internet and they're still going to watch porn. And sadly, if you as a parent aren't having really good conversations with your children, you're going to put them at sea, and they're going to have no place to go other than places that most likely you don't want them to go. So my questions that we're going to be exploring is, how comfortable are you as a parent talking about sex in general? As a person, how comfortable was your family in talking about sex and sexuality? And not just sex and sexuality, sexual orientation, erotic interests. How are you feeling as you're listening to this video and you're hearing me say all these different things? That becomes really important when you talk to your child about sex, because they are going to pick up your discomfort and you're going to pass your discomfort on to them, and then it's going to shape their eroticism, their sexuality. Doing nothing for sure shapes your children, because it's not just what we do to children, it's what we don't do with children. The lack of, the neglect. And so we're going to be talking about that in this series, about porn illiteracy. The idea that kids are watching porn, girls and boys, teenager, male and female, and without help from an adult teaching them what it is they're watching, what's good about porn, what's not good about porn, what's unhealthy about porn. Again, the child makes up a story in their head, the teen makes up a story in their head, and again, they're at sea. So I think it's just really important to know what to say to your kids. And we have a 6-rule model. That comes from my colleague Doug Braun-Harvey and Michael Vigorito. And what's one of the best things, an overview of talking to your kids about sex, is that sex should be consensual, non-exploitive, safer sex, honesty, shared values, and mutually pleasurable with a partner. Actually, these come from the World Health Organization, and my colleagues picked up these different words and put them together as a 6-principle sexual health model for couples, but it can also work with talking to your teens. In terms of LGBT teens, lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, questioning, I always ask parents, have you thought about what you're going to say if your child comes to you and tells you they're LGBTQ? And most parents look at me like I have two heads, like, why would I even think that? Because your child may come to you and you may be raising one that is LGBTQ. What are you going to say? What are you going to do? What's the information that you have that you can help them with? These are critical questions. We know that 30% of LGBT lesbian, gay, and bisexual teens attempt suicide, and 41% of transgender teens attempt suicide. So these are really important things, and that erotophobia, the fear of sex, as a parent, passed on down to your children, isn't helpful either, because then again, they're not going to get the right information. So my whole goal is to help parents talk to their children from their values and their interests, and learning their children and their teenagers' interests, so that people don't have sexual shame, erotic shame, sexual orientation shame. And hopefully this series of videos will be helpful, and then we'll meet with you on May 17th and talk more about it in the meetup group we're doing, which will also be web streamed live. This is Dr. Joe Kort, and thanks for listening to me, and I'll see you next time.